Good news, just got back from the AZ shave thing and razor Emporium. Oh, blemish. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, just got back from that. It was really cool. You guys should have been there. Smiles for Miles was there. Matt Pistarczyk was there. Shave Cave Reed, he was there. GW Smallwood Garrett, the Shaving Disciple, was there, and I actually met a couple of subscribers to the channel too, which that's really cool too. Yeah, so I think that's pretty awesome. So I got some video footage, and they actually did a giveaway. So when can't speak. When you went there, they have these bags, and it was like they give you stuff. One of them was, I didn't actually film the soap making process. I was having a conversation with someone, but this was the soap that they made. So this is exclusively for the meetup. AZ Shavers, hello. Come on, focus. There. AZ Shavers Meetup, February 26, 2022. Just a little sample. This is what they actually made, though. I didn't get to film that part, though. Charcoal, cedarwood, and bourbon. Really cool. And then it has, like, this paper. Also came with this. This is a new soap from Rex Supply Company, Razor Emporium. Not sure what the profiling on this one. It says, please tell us feedback on our new Rex Tallow Soap. I might look at the website and figure out what the actual scent profile is. It smells good though. Yeah, almost old schooly barbershoppy kinda. I'm not sure. It's different though. It smells really good. So that's what it came with. Also got a candle. Made by DJ with love in Phoenix, Arizona. Scent notes are charcoal, cedarwood, and bourbon. Yeah, it's candle. Very cool. The Arizona on there. Got some Edwin Jagger samples. A couple Edwin Jagger samples. They had samples of these. I just grabbed one. I already have citrus, and that's a really good scent anyway, though. Sticker. A sticker. Polishing cloth. Tells you how to use it and everything. And a couple vintage blades. Yeah, these are vintage. It's got a Paul. Convict. I don't even know. Concavex. I don't know what that is. And another one. Legion. Dorado, Argentina blades. So those were free. And yeah, so put all this away real quick. Yeah, so here's my footage I got. Yeah, I talked to Smiles. He was next to me, so if you hear me talking and stuff like that, yeah. But this was the whole thing of walking through actual Razor Emporium, and then afterwards, everybody hung out and talked, and then we went to the brewery across the street and just hung out. So this is my footage. Hope you guys dig it. Hope you think it's cool. But I mean, camera technique's not that great when I'm filming live stuff, but I tried, and hope y'all enjoy it. They're gonna have another one someday, don't know when. And if you're in Phoenix, you should go because it was really fun. I met some really cool people. Everybody was totally awesome and cool. It was really good. So check this out. All right, so we're here. Yeah, we're here. We're early too. I got here early. So all right. So yeah, they're still getting stuff set up, but yeah, just like the last time. This is all their stuff they got. Is that Doug's hat? We never know. But yeah, I got it. Okay. It's all the Razor Emporium stuff. Very cool. With the Arizona flag in back, that's awesome. That's a cool touch right there. WSP. This stuff I've been wanting to try. I've been wanting to try their shaving cream stuff. So yeah, pretty much the same as last time I showed you guys this. Yeah, we're gonna be looking at that in a minute. Got the workers back there, so let's go over here. Get that. Got Matt. This is all the new Rex stuff.
So we don't forget.
Okay. Rex stuff, check that out, it's all gold. That's awesome. What is that? Is that the new console everyone's talking about? Yeah. Ooh, don't drop it, Chris. got a cool grip to it too. Candy, leaf. Yeah, got map sources back there. All the work is working. Yeah, you guys saw his live yesterday on YouTube and Facebook. This is what he was setting up. So he's got it all set up and ready. You guys took it, yeah.
Okay, so where
Very cool that he's got this back in his shop again. You guys seen this at Big Shapes West too.
be right here.
So then the camera and the computer need to set up over in that corner.
Yeah, there's a tag that he was talking
Over
about. He's
here?
trying to find.
Yep.
$12 tag he was talking about. Very, very cool. And these those canisters I was telling you. That's what I was trying to tell you guys about the canisters yesterday. That I actually learned myself.
What's the
Yeah, that's very, very cool.
liabilities or
Hey, Matt.
Hello.
What? You know, that's calling, remember? Sundown. Yeah. So, very cool. I'll get more later.
Hi, my name's Matt Discharge, and I'm here at Razor Emporium, and we're really excited to get started with our Arizona Shavers meetup, Razor Emporium edition, hosted at Razor Emporium this year. Really excited and really happy to have Lee Layton from WSB and Corey. So thank you very much guys for coming out. Layton and I have been friends and associates from just my daughter. We've been buddies since 2005, 2006, when both of us just had a foggy idea what wet shaving was. We both kind of started different businesses, and it's really nice to have him here today for this special event. And we're really happy to be stocking the WSP products again in our store. Right behind us, we have a big Arizona flag where some of the Arizona-made products, ours and his, and Douglas from Phoenix Artisan, are all carried. But I just wanted to kind of say thank you all for getting together. It's been a long time since we had an Arizona Shavers meetup. You know, instead of hosting at a cigar store or just me at the brewing company, I thought we could do something kind of special today. And you know, this building and what we do here at Razor Emporium is just so unique and so different. I've always wanted to kind of give people the Willy Wonka tour of what we do and kind of behind the scenes. And my kids are the Oompa Loompas back there. But I'm wearing this little headset because we are doing a live, so we are live to our audience out there in Facebook and YouTube land. So thank you so much for joining us out there, whoever's watching on our stream. As we're doing our tour, I don't mind if there's points in time, I'll tell you this is a good time to take some pictures, but there are other certain things, just like in Willy Wonka's workshop, that are kind of proprietary and special. So I may say, this is not a good time to take a picture. It's for your eyes only. Behind the scenes kind of stuff, right? But at that, you know, I'm also really excited to have this collection here. This collection, I was up with my buddy last night till midnight working on putting this together. I got in and woke up at 6 o'clock and came right back. But, you know, the business kind of started off with collecting razors and wanting to fix them up and help people fix theirs up, and it's kind of got a little bit out of control, so to speak, and a little bigger than we originally thought. But having us here today is kind of part of the experience. I'm really happy to show this. I haven't seen my own collection for years. It's been in boxes, and it's nice to see it again in a display like this. So with that, I think we'll probably start our tour. Is there any questions before we get started? Just general questions or shout outs you want me to do or say, or anything you guys have for me before we kind of walk around the building? All right. Well, you ready to go? But we do all of our product photography right over here. If you ever see that bathroom tile, it's not a real bathroom. It's actually just that little backdrop we made. Our shipping and receiving department's right here. So Dondra, Emily, Michaela are all part of our team over here, shipping out boxes. We ship out between 40 to sometimes even 60 packages a day. So it's a definitely busy place. We're not only shipping retail products, we're also shipping out service orders, we're shipping out vintage razors, all sorts of stuff. Things are coming in from around the world to stock our shelves, so a busy department. Let's go over here. Come on, just back a little bit further. Other products coming out, like body care products. We have a new, did some of you guys pick up the new Rex prototype soap? Some of you guys got it? Okay, that's a brand new formula for the Rex company, which is kind of our sister company. And I hope you guys can all try it out. It's a tallow-based soap. It's our first one. The Razor Emporium is all vegan-based soap.
That smiles for miles.
We want it to be different from Rex. And so it's two forms. We're going to tweak the scent just a little bit. It's very close, but I'm more concerned with how is it lathering up because it's a different base than we're used to. So, but Dondra's very busy over here, a couple times a week making soap. We also make candles. Not only do we make candles for ourselves, we also do some private label candles for other companies. So that's something we do a lot of. That's this little humble area over here. We're going to continue on the journey. It will get a little bigger. This is kind of a crowded section, but we'll pile through here.
Starving.
Come on back, come on back.
To that thing.
There you go.
It's a very small watch you got there.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty small.
So you guys may have seen like the Rex boxes that we put the Rex Ambassador, Rex Envoy, our cases. We actually do about 80% of the production of these boxes in-house. So we have the actual prints. We have the prints printed out from like a local company that prints it for us and then puts that special texture on it. But that's it. We then use this giant machine over here to emboss the logo, to do foil stamp on the side, to die cut it out, and then we hand assemble all of them in-house. So it's kind of a very specialized thing. It's one reason we can make a box this nice and not have to, have a giant price tag associated with it. It kind of was part of the deal. If you walked into a packaging shop and you said, what would it cost to make a box like this? They'd probably tell you like $7 or maybe $8 or $10. We can make this box for around $2. And that's because we have all this equipment in-house to do that. And we actually just finished making 20,000 of these boxes. And you see these components up here labeled Rex bottoms, and there's more on the floor, Rex tops. So we just finished a giant production of these boxes, and they're all kind of in-house. The other aspect of this area is right behind you. It's a little bit unorganized at the moment, a little messy, but it's very much functional. Is a laboratory. So again, you may not think of Razor Emporium as a lab, but if you guys don't already know, we do electroplating here. Electroplating is a lot of chemistry. So I have a chemist friend that comes in, I made him a little laboratory here, and he takes samples of our plating chemistry and analyzes it, and we'll make additions to make sure everything's running at the right, proper levels, right pH levels. And so he's doing all that analytical work for the laboratory right over here. I do hope to build him a separate lab. We actually have a building outside that we'll probably rehab and make a little bigger lab. Plus, part of wanting to make the lobby bigger, I need to make room in this. So another one thing I wanted to point out real quick about this area. You need Logan? Sorry, my wife's motioning to me. This used to be an office. So this entire warehouse was a storage building for the Greyhound race park that's right across the street. In fact, they just took down the grandstands this week. They're gone, they're done. But this was their storage warehouse, and this part was their office. They used to have drop ceilings in here. We took all the drop ceilings out, we put all new HVAC equipment in, new drywall, new LED lights, we built the break room, built the lobby. And this was like 3 different little offices back here. It was kind of a weird building. But we're gonna pass through now into the actual workshop. Here. Come on this way.
Very, very cool, isn't it? Yeah, that's awesome.
Sanding, fabrication work. And you guys may know of Razor Emporium for our work on redoing old Gillette safety razors, replating them, polishing them. The real work begins here. People always think, oh, you just dip it into a plating tank and take it out, it looks beautiful. That couldn't be further from the truth. Most of the magic of the plating experience is really the polishing work. So I'm going to show some of the different processes of what we're doing here. So a lot of people think that we can just take the original Gillette razor parts and just start working on them. This is a 1940s super speed. This belongs to a customer. The other thing you may ask is how we keep track of customer work. So this customer is a Mr. Robert from Austin, Texas. We have all of his work information, what kind of razor, what's being done to it. It travels in its own job bin the entire time it's in our shop. So we took apart his 1940 Super Speed and we put a tag on it as well. It's going to go into a chemical stripping bath. We'll see in just a few minutes. We have to take the entire original finish off. We can't work on the original Gillette finish. We have to get below that. If you've ever sanded a piece of wood, that'd be like saying, I'm going to take this old dresser and just put a new coat of stain on it. You got to take the stain off, sand it, get past that, then work up to build a new surface. So after it's been through the chemical stripping bath, this is not the same razor, but a similar razor for the aristocrat. It looks something like this. And you say, oh my gosh, it looks hideous. That's raw brass. So it's down to the brass. All the original finish has been taken off, but it looks quite ugly. You look at all the components and pieces. I mean, they're pretty rough. They got black, dirty marks, dings, scratches, all of that's on it. Then the real magic begins. So we'll work to do kind of initial polishing steps to start making them look a lot nicer. Shiny, polished brass components. They're not done yet. We actually do another step that's called tumble, and we'll show you those tumbling machines in a few minutes. And the tumble gives a much more uniform kind of look to the pieces. The tumble that's all done by hand, the polishing, but then the tumble gets into all the little nooks and crannies. It's little tiny steel pins. It's able to kind of work really hard. And finally, they'll be ready for plating, and we'll put them on a rack like this. All the components need to receive electrical current, so they all have to have copper wires attached to them, and this entire rack here has electrical connections on these big hooks to go onto a plating bar. So every single part has to get electricity to it. So there's kind of a magic of how to wire the parts so you don't see a wire mark. And they have to be able to, go in and not fall off. So they have to be pretty secure. They get moved around a lot. You have to blow them off with an air compressor when they're done. So they have to be secure enough, but not so tight or so bound that you're going to see a bunch of wire marks on them. So I'm going to actually take these with me. We'll go over to the plating area in just a few minutes. So we offer two finishes here. We offer what's called more like a factory finish, where it's kind of a semi-bright kind of finish. Definitely shiny, but then we offer the premium finish, which is really more like a mirror finish on some of the parts. And that is more like for our gold and for our rhodium, it's going to receive this kind of finish. So this gets more polishing time. I'll take these with us as we move, because we're going to need these. We're going to walk down now over here. These are the magicians of Razor Emporium. They are my right and left hands. We could not do what we do without our crew over here. Between the three of them, they have over a decade of polishing experience. It's incredibly specialized work. It's very small, detail-oriented work. You see these motors here that have polishing wheels on them. We use polishing wheels that are like 3 or 4 inches in diameter. They're cotton wheels, they're very soft. We apply different polishing compounds to these wheels, and the motors turn them between 1800 to 3600 RPM to polish the parts. You can imagine having a 3 or 4 inch wheel, getting in small little detail areas can be hard. That's why we do a tumbling step as well, to help get into all the little nooks and crannies of our components. But this is the work that's done to take out scratches, dings, dents, and to make things look bright, shiny, clean, and brand new again. So this crew is phenomenal. Thank you. They also have really helped this week to clean up the shop. So as you've seen everything clean, you can thank this crew. They did a fantastic job. Thank you, guys. All right, we're going to come down this way. Oh, you know what? Actually, stay right there. One other component of this area, we have a sandblasting machine here. We also have a small powder coat station right behind. Is it Jim? John. We have a small powder coat station right behind John. So if you've seen like a red tip super speed or a black handled super adjustable or the little black line on a Fat Boy, we re-powder coat all that in this little station right here. So we used to do like spray paint and airbrush, but nothing's more durable than powder coat. We do that right here. Come on this way.
Hi, Marissa. Hello, camera.
tin for those, and then also corn cob, walnut shell. Okay, I know it's kind of crowded, so I appreciate you guys trying to make it all work and get in here. One other quick area I want to show you this, where these folks are standing. We have some different tumbling machines over here. They're not running at the moment. Everything starts getting very loud. We're going to have our dust collection system off because everything starts getting loud. The one machine, another machine. Before you know it, you have to talk like this in here. But we also have a hydraulic flipper press right behind you. If you've ever seen this giant machine here, if you've ever seen the strops, how they have a row with the top of the strop, you stamp them into that. If you've seen the Rex brushes, the Rex stamp, or the name Rex is stamped into metal, it's done on this machine. Even the fabric interior of the Rex boxes, if you have a little shape or cut up or razor, it's all stamped out of this machine. It's a 20-ton stamp, so when it comes down, you don't want to have your hands underneath it. It won't care. So that's a big part of what we do here. Other tumbling machines to tumble the Rex parts and Gillette parts. That's this kind of station. We're going to try to turn our attention. Let's kind of pull down. Some of us want to pull this little look. Come right in here. I kind of wanted to try. We'll see if Emily can do it. If you guys have seen the Rex products, they feature laser engraving on the bottom. That laser engraving, we used to pay a company to do it, and they would charge $3 a piece. You say, oh, it's just $3. When you're making 1,000 razors, it starts adding up really quickly. So I like to vertically integrate. You can't really tell. I like to have all the machines, all the control in my hand. We buy our own laser machine. So you can do it right here. And it's actually, are you ready to go? Yeah. So we're going to show you. Now, I will say, looking at a laser is like looking at the sun. Take a quick look away. We actually have special goggles that Emily does use, but she can do it in about 30 seconds. It'll be done. So we can show you how we laser apart right here.
So this is our envoy dart. Put it in the corner here. This is super easy, and it's gonna laser the Rex logo on there and the specific serial numbers for each razor.
Oh, yeah.
Probably what takes the most time for this because it takes us time doing all of them. But
Emily's been with our team for about a year. She is doing every single Rex razor you see is going through Emily's hands. She's a huge part of our team. Love having her here. She's a hard worker. We just got done releasing a new razor, the Rex Console adjustable slant razor. We already sold out of our first batch. We're making another 500 in April. We're currently making 500 ambassadors. So we're always making razors. Not only do we sell the Rex stuff, there's 50 stores across the world that carry Rex products now.
if anyone's interested in the console, I saved 2 of them and put them aside in case anybody is interested. Just something like. All right.
So the Rex parts are also individually serial numbered, so this program has a ability to kind of count up as it's going. We log all those, and when the customer gets it, they can register their serial number online, and it's registered for life, basically. And if people do sell it, we actually have a record of that. If someone else registers, we can see who was the original owner, who was the second owner, we can follow that. It looks like she gave it a quick clean and ultrasonic. You want to show it, pass it around. You want to just pass it down?
Yeah, you guys want to pass it down, right?
Each one's done individually, each one's one at a time. But usually Emily is sometimes multitasking, she's doing something else while she's doing maybe listing your product for sale on the site and doing this at the same time. So we'll keep on walking just a little bit further down here. Some of you guys also go this way.
6. Camera 1.
What up,
Camera
yo?
2.
We got
Camera 3.
Phoenix up in here.
I know, dude. It's
Everybody
cool,
up in
man.
here,
Very valuable.
hanging out, Razor
He's
Emporium.
been with Razor Emporium, I think, for 7, 8 years now. Do you want to stand up, introduce yourself? Eric Ingle? No, just a couple of Eric is our bladesmith. Eric does all of our honing, straight razor polishing. He even is grinding the Rex straight razor, the Sovereign, if you've seen in the lobby. It's hand ground by Eric, one at a time on this machine right behind you, a belt grinder. So we couldn't do the straight razor work that we do in our building without Eric. He's been a huge part of our team for years. Really happy to have him as part. But you get a wicked sharp edge from a straight edge. You can thank Eric for that. Eric, you probably have close to a dozen different stones to choose from.
At this point, a lot more than that.
More than a dozen stones. So people always ask me, what does it take to sharpen a straight razor? Is it like sharpening a knife? And I say, no, they're cousins, but they're not really that close. A knife, you want it to be blunt enough to go through a bone or some heavy, cartilage on maybe an animal if you're taking out an animal. Straight razor's going through hair. You need it to be very comfortable. So the edge has to be more like 12,000, 20,000, sometimes even 30,000 grit. So Eric's going to use his experience and the kind of steel, the kind of blade to make those decisions of how high up he needs to go and what stones to use and what progression. That's this.
Man, they still around, dude. You gotta go online, dude.
I will do
All right.
I will come next door to day 3 a little more open. They'll talk about that.
Like people always ask, like, I'm like, dude, I've been dressed in the same way since like '93, 8th grade. I didn't change.
Keep dressing like you're. So sharpening for me, it's probably like maybe 5 or 6 minutes a razor.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's after years and years.
Yeah. I got Kieranite that I like a thing, a sheet of Kieranite I wanted to do in this nail.
Probably half an hour, 45 minutes.
Oh yeah. Want to get in here close?
What, for the laser? I don't care.
Let me get out of here.
Oh, you're good, man.
Want to do another one? No, it's okay. Look at it. Oh, it's not. Yeah. Okay, let's stop that.
So many heads. Some people say other
Take 2.
And they're so when you're owning
Laser engraving up close so y'all see this.
That's why you're just trying to get the size straight down to make it fit. That's why I say in a perfect cone, you don't take any laser. But if you don't have tape on it, every single time you go down the stone, you are going to so very quickly it's going to start to look at
Pieces. Someone contracted us to do these little. It's just like a little. I don't know what it's for, but he's gonna have us engraving the back.
exactly.
They're for their ball
Yeah, I always take tape on it.
ball tips. It's like similar to your, where your ball is. I think that's what it
There
looks
you
like
go.
to me. Yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest misconceptions. I wish I could just get everyone to understand that. It's when you're making a straight razor, the very end of the process, a lot of times you don't. That first edge might not have tape on it, so people assume, well, you have tape on it. That is it. In fact, most people, the final home, they do with tape.
There is the finished product of the laser engraving. Very, very cool.
If we come back in a year or so, we'll have to crawl through here through all the different plating tanks, and I want it to be just jam-packed and we can do all sorts of processes in there. So that's kind of the future vision for this area. But the other things we have here is some chem storage. We have a laser cutter in the back. It's kind of part of a future project that cuts stainless steel on the laser for a future razor we're working on right now. So that's being worked on. I'm looking at the size of the crowd, and I'm thinking about this electroplate demonstration, and I'm worried of how it could work, because I'm totally willing to do it. We can take a peek in, but the room can fit about maybe 7 or 8 people at a time. We can, if you want, we can maybe kind of take like 5 people at a time and kind of filter in and kind of filter back out. Oh wait, but you're supposed to show the tunnel.
We're never in.
Oh,
He's
hold
there
on,
building a
I
customer
forgot.
to client.
Wendy's standing here looking at me, and she was running this machine, and she's now ready to go. So I was telling you earlier about one of our tumbling
I'm gonna do
processes.
that after I'm gonna leave here early and go do the turn
So
because I
it
gotta
just
do that for
finished 2 hours of
Jim
tumbling
because he's
into
doing.
barrels
I did a 6.2
with a bunch
Impala
of
theme
stainless steel
with a
pins,
dice.
little tiny pieces of stainless
He's
steel,
gonna make it into a
and those little pieces of steel work their way into the
So I'm gonna
razor
get out of
parts,
here.
and that's how you get kind of a nice finish. And the finish now
1 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
is what?
Great stash. Thank you.
Yeah. Jump in there.
Alright, you're gonna be my model, alright? Hands to your side, and you're gonna walk with me.
Work it, work it.
Thank you.
We're going to hit the parts with electricity and a very strong base to, again, further clean the part and prepare the surface to accept plating. It goes over into an acid process that, again, kind of puts a micro etch. Think of when you sand a piece of wood, you need to use like 600 grit sandpaper so that your stain actually is tacky and can stick on. We use an acid in there that does the same thing on a microscopic level to the surface. It's not like acid from Batman where if I touch it I melt. It's more like pickle juice. In fact, they used to call it pickling back in the day of plating. The next step after that is copper. So the Gillette parts are all brass. Brass and nickel or brass and gold don't want to really touch. They'll just fall off. So you need an in-between layer, that's copper. So copper will stick to the brass and the nickel sticks to the copper. So you get nickel on it, they come out. I mean, if you guys want, I could do something to kind of show you. Is that cool, or you guys are done with this? You want to move on? Who wants to see some of it? Raise hands. Who wants to move on? Okay, everyone wants to see it. Well, I can actually do some of this while we're talking. I'll just start these. I'll put this in ultrasonic.
Wait, pull back out. Can you pull back out?
About a minute. So it's actually quite fast. We can get through nickel in about 8 minutes. So we got 8 minutes to see some nickel plated razors. And then another 6 minutes we want to see gold. Want to see gold? Okay. So right now it's in that nasty buzzing sound, sounds like a hornet's nest. Because again, it's shooting 40,000 kilohertz per second through the fluid. And the fluid is just a really, really, really strong detergent. Think of like Dawn dish detergent on steroids. It's pH 14. It's a very strong soap. I do all plating. We don't have another plater to me. I like it because I get to make sure that room, that's probably my biggest investment in the building is that room. Between the gold, the rhodium, the tanks, we're looking at over $100,000 investment in that room. It's not a small thing to do plating. A lot of guys who do plating try to do plating in beakers, and that's where we started. So I'm not dogging on it, and that's what your local jewelry shop will do with your wristband, your ring. They'll put it in a beaker. So you get a 1 liter beaker. The problem with a beaker and hundreds of razors a month is contamination. Even with all the steps you do, you still get contamination. And so your quality is constantly doing this. And I don't want you to get the razor when it was here. I want you to get the razor when it's here. So part of my laboratory is keeping everything at the same level so that my results are the same every single week. Okay, it's been about a minute. They say I'm going to move to the next step. So they look the same, but they should be cleaner. We're going to throw them into that base electro cleaner now. And you know, that one's in there for a minute. If you guys, anyone wants to circulate through and go take a look, you can look. It's just sitting in a tank of fly. Sodium hydroxide. If you wondered why there's balls on some of the tanks, I don't have an obsession with ping pong balls. It's for evaporation control. So several of the tanks are superheated. The first one's 170 degrees, the other one's 140. So when I have super hot liquids, the last thing I want is tons of evaporation. So you put the plastic balls on top to help keep evaporation in. That room still gets up into the 40% humidity level. Summertime is bad. I have my shirt off, I'm in there working the tanks. So we try to keep the evaporation as low as possible. We do 24 karat pool finishing. No, I haven't.
Matt, how often have you changed the bulb?
So like the ultrasonic with the super strong detergent we call buffing compound remover. It's actually a giant 55-gallon drum over there. I change it about every 2 or 3 weeks, and I have a log. So we have log books of everything we're doing. It's not like we're just, you know, willy-nilly. I notate everything we're doing. All that fluid. Oh, I should mention one other thing. It's right behind you. You're good. Right here. See this? This is my permit to do what I do in the city of Phoenix. The city of Phoenix and I are best friends. They love me. I'm not just saying that. I actually just had a surprise inspection. They came in on the 3rd. I was sitting here doing my thing, all of a sudden the city of Phoenix truck walks up. Hi, we're here for your surprise inspection. I'm permitted to do what's called zero categorical wastewater discharge. That means I put nothing down the drain. So I have to deal with any waste in one of 2 manners, either evaporation or ion treatment. You say, what is ion treatment? You guys all know what evaporation is, right? You leave your dirty mop bucket outside, you come back 2 days later, it's much more condensed. So we actually have a 600-gallon evaporation tank on the side of the building out here. You can't see it, it's kind of right behind this pallet, but it's right outside the window. We send out wastewater for evaporation, so if I change out the 40 gallons of ultrasonic fluid, it goes outside to evaporate. All the water content goes up in the air, the soap and the dirt and the junk stays inside the tank. Eventually, if I get enough of it, which I really haven't made enough, I put it in a 55-gallon drum, I pay a company $200, they take it, they get rid of it. That's what the city wants to see, so I'm not allowed to dump anything on the drains. If they suspect you dumping something down the drain, they will literally put special devices in your sinks and start monitoring what you're doing. But they love me. They say I'm the cleanest plating shop they've ever seen. I'm also one of the smallest they've ever seen. But the other part of that is the ion treatment. I'll talk about that in one moment. I'm actually going to move the process over to the acid pickling step. Okay, so we moved them over 1 tank. So right down in the middle, which is acid dip. So the other way we deal with wastewater here is ion treatment. And you say, what is that? Anyone have a water softener at home? That's ion treatment. So what are you doing? You're putting dirty water that has other elements connected to the H2O, like magnesium, like calcium, iron, and you're stripping those off. And you're just passing the H2O through. That's what we're doing. That's what all those tanks over there are. So I pay a company a very nominal, I think like $10 a month per tank to sit there, and I'm passing water through it that could have other elements connected to it, and it pulls those other elements off and they stay inside the tank. You guys have that at home with a water softener, and the way you recharge it is with a bunch of salt. The salt water then passes through, and it connects to the salt instead, and that goes down the drain. Well, I can't throw nickel down the drain or copper down the drain. So when the nickel or the copper or the gold or the rhodium get off, they stay in there, the company comes and exchanges it. I have a little water quality meter, I'll test water, I'll say, okay, I'm below or above where I need to be. They'll come out, they'll change it in the new tank, they take it, they're licensed to deal with it after that. So that's what's called ion treatment. It's one of the cleanest ways of doing it. We try to prevent losing chemistry because I don't want to get rid of chemistry. There's kind of a false notion of plating that you want to dump your chemicals down the drain. My chemicals cost a lot of money. I don't want to get rid of them. So I actually, you may have seen me when I moved from one process to the next, we actually have two kind of stops for that chemistry. If I come out of the lye, the sodium hydroxide, I go into a spray tank. It sprays the parts with just clean water. That chemistry drops to the bottom. As my 144 degree tank is evaporating, that water goes right back over automatically with pump controls. So I'm replenishing my chemistry. Then I go into a clean water step that's kind of like a break. You guys ever did like photography, darkroom? You have a break between processes. You don't want to drag a base into an acid. You neutralize both. So we have a clean water break between every single step. So that long wall of tanks you saw, there's 12 different tanks. It's only 4 processes. Because it's a process, a spray, a clean water. A process, a clean, a spray, and water. Okay, so it's been about a minute. We're going to move over to copper. Now the copper, I wish I could come out here and show you, because they look great. I'll try to maybe quickly go like this. Copper, if you know about copper, it immediately starts reacting with oxygen. I mean, instantly. And I don't want to have my nickel attached to copper oxide. I want it to attach to copper. So the longer it's in the air, I'm literally tarnishing the part. I usually come out and it's right into the rinse, right into the nickel. All right, so I'm going to try to go really fast. I just turned on the spray. Okay, we're only in copper for 30 seconds. We're just putting a little micro layer on. Sometimes I count to 30 in my head. Sometimes I just kind of wing it. Copper grows really, really fast. So 30 seconds is good, 40 seconds is good, 2 minutes, too much. You'll literally have parts that won't go back together anymore because the copper just grows that fast. Whereas nickel, we do a 6-minute deposit of nickel. It's a little slower. Let's give about 30 seconds. We'll count to 10. All right.
29, 1,000, 30, 1,000.
Copper!
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oops, sorry. Get it here.
Oh, you missed the copper.
It looks pretty when it comes out. You notice I also do 2 racks at a time. Each rack holds 2 razors. That means my labor is doing 4 razors at once. Advantageous to have bigger tanks. Instead of holding one little string of parts into a beaker. Much more efficient. Copper! Okay, I can't count the 6 minutes in my head, so we have a timer on that one. So they went through copper, they have a very, very micro layer. This is exactly the way that Gillette did it. If you look at old advertisements, old catalogs for Gillette, they'll say triple silver plated, triple gold plated. They'll say, what does that mean? It means that you're not just doing silver. You're doing copper, nickel, silver. Copper to adhere to brass, nickel to adhere to copper. Nickel gives it a lot of strength. Nickel's super strong, very durable, very hard. And then you do silver on top, that really for decoration. That's how we do rhodium here. So when you guys walk to that second little room in the back, there was a smaller setup. That's my rhodium setup. I actually just got finished building that setup. That investment, about 20 grand in rhodium, just for a 10-liter tank. Very small little micro tank. It's a very expensive metal, it's crazy. But we don't do the entire thing just in rhodium. It has to have these other processes before. Same with gold. You look at old Gillette razors, Aristocrat, a Malord. if you want it to wear nicely and look nicely, you actually put nickel underneath the gold for that hardness. It's almost like when you want to paint something black and put a gray primer underneath, right? Or some kind of primer, white primer. You have to prime it before you get to that nice finish. You want that final finish to show and not the under part to show. So we're in nickel, both racks are in there. One's going to be done, that'll be our factory nickel. The other one's going to go over to our gold. Nickel, we're already about halfway through. So.
Is that your uniform?
Huh? Yeah, this is my uniform.
Your lab coat?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just usually wear jeans and my t-shirt every day. But this is a good time for questions. What kind of acid? The acid in this tank, it is an acid that is called bifluoride acid, and it's again very weak. If you touched it, you're not going to be the Joker and start melting. It really is just micro etching the surface. We have a chemical supplier. I'm happy to tell you, it's called Technic. You probably see their logo on a bunch of the bottles of their Technic plating. They're one of the oldest plating companies in the country. They're out of Anaheim, California, and they supply us with all of our chemistry. So I come to my plating rep and I say, hey Gabriel, I have a new process. I have brass components, or I have aluminum components, or I have steel components. I need to get rhodium on them. What do I need? You can say, you need this, you need this, you need this. Every one of my, every one of my processes has what's called a technical data sheet. This is another benefit of buying through a major supplier and not buying at the local jewelry store a bottle of copper or a bottle of nickel. I'll get an entire worksheet order here that tells me what kind of tank it needs to be in, how hot it needs to be, what kind of process to keep it maintained. Sorry, my daughter's just going crazy. She's really happy. They don't have all sorts of procedures on how to make the bath up, all the different components of the bath. So you get a lot of support. Plus, when I have a problem, I say, Gabriel, my nickel's looking a little foggy. What's going on? No problem. We'll be out there, we'll get a sample, we'll run the lab for you, we'll figure it out. Or my chemist, we'll run the sample, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. So plating is more than just dipping. It's science. So the way, I kind of didn't even explain how plating works. 2 minutes. This is very exciting. When you plate, what you're doing is you are running DC current through the part. So you saw a bunch of rectifiers, and that one sitting on top of that shelf right there. You're running very nominal voltages. Like that copper needs 1.3 volts. It's not much. It's the amperage though. That amperage was probably 10 amps when I was running 2 razors through it. The razor parts become negative and the solution becomes positive. The solution becomes positive with what's called an anode, like big pieces of copper, big pieces of nickel that go into the bath. It's electrolysis. And basically, your part's negative, your solution becomes positive, and it wants to basically, the nickel wants to jump over to it. You're like, well, it's not liquid nickel, it's green. Why is it green? And it comes out shiny gray, silver, right? Because it's a salt. That's nickel sulfate. If you guys took chemistry class, it precipitates kind of and changes states through electrolysis and actually deposits as a nickel metal, even though what you're seeing there is a bunch of salt. Crazy process. I'm keeping track. In 1 minute. In 1 minute, we'll be done with the nickel razor. And I'll bring that out and show you, and then we're going to go into gold. Gold's another 6 minutes. 5 minutes. Any other questions? Good time.
Are you liquefying gold?
How do we liquefy gold? We do not. We get gold salts. So I actually just bought a troy ounce of gold. It comes to me in a little jar. I didn't bring it. I should have brought it. It comes to me as a pink powder. I can show you, baby. It's over in the lobby on the safe. It's a gold salt. It looks like Himalayan table salt, but it's really fine. And they'll say, okay, you need to add back half a troy ounce for your batch. Because I'm taking out gold, I'm taking out nickel, so I have to always add stuff back in to maintain equilibrium. Oh, you hear the buzzer? It's time. Okay, I can quickly show you. This one's actually going into gold next. I don't want it to dry, but this was done in nickel. You see how shiny it is? It's gonna get a gold strike right now. Gold strike's like a gold primer.